Welcome everyone to Therapists Supporting Therapists. Today I have with me the beautiful Rachel Saenger. She is a board-approved supervisor with the Texas LPC and LMFT boards and the owner of Georgetown Counseling and Wellness. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm excited to be here, and I'm really glad that you're doing this. I think it's a great benefit that you're giving to our therapist community, so thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Now, I know you have a lot of credentials in supervision, both for professional counselors, LPCs, or licensed mental health counselors in other states, and marriage and family therapy. So today I want to ask you about navigating all of this COVID-19 stuff as a clinical supervisor. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're navigating this?
Yeah, well, as I think we're all aware, it's been evolving very quickly. Each week seems to be new and different with what it's been bringing our way. But I've been really trying to work with my supervisees just to, on the one hand, help support them with what they're going through with all the changes that have been happening and the unknowns. And on the other hand, work with them to help support their clients as best they can during this time. Really all of them have moved to online counseling at this point, and telehealth, and they need to get some training, and then their agencies are asking for certain kinds of training as well. So just trying to really support them in both of those ways has been my approach.
Yeah. So what has your experience been as you transition your supervisees over to telehealth and help them make this adjustment?
Well, we're all kind of in this together,
and we are.
Taking it one step at a time. There have been some glitches, and I personally use Google Meet. I have a G Suite account, and so I prefer Google Meet because there is that business associates agreement on file with them. And then I've also just found that it's been reliable and not kind of crashing as much as a couple of the other platforms I've tried. So we do that, and we just figured out this past week how to all meet on there all together successfully. And after we got that piece figured out, I think it was really kind of back to normal in terms of, similar as to if we were all meeting together in the same room with, them staffing their cases, talking about what it's like to work from home all of a sudden, and even just the self-care piece, talking about that. But we've just kind of launched into how it normally would be once we got the glitches worked out.
That's great. And as we start to move into, weeks of this, we're starting to kind of get it figured out.
Yes, 1 week at a time. And I think we're discovering that it might go on longer than we originally anticipated.
Yes, we don't know how long.
Yeah.
Well, I've spoken a lot with friends and colleagues of mine that are clinical directors and clinical supervisors. And I know that sometimes this can be a really lonely and stressful role. And I'm wondering what challenges you see and maybe tips for other clinical supervisors out there as we navigate through this changing times together.
That's a great question. So it can be at times. And I think on the one hand, practicing self-care as a supervisor and as a clinician is important. So I like to practice meditation and some yoga daily in my life. And also just connecting with other supervisors. Here in Texas, we have a Facebook group for LPC supervisors. I found that to be helpful, on the one hand with logistics of moving to telehealth, and also just support, tips on how to best support supervisees and some things like that. And here in Georgetown, we have a group that meets once every 3 months as well, just meeting in person. We're probably going to need to next meet over, Zoom, but just meeting to talk about issues that arise in supervision changes that the boards might be making, and things like that. But it can be, but I think it is what we make of it too. And, you know, reaching out and networking with other supervisors can be really helpful, I've
Yeah,
found.
that makes it less lonely, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And, you know, the boards will update things too, especially during this time of COVID-19. The boards have, you know, very quickly put in some emergency protocols. And so just being able to share those and talk with other supervisors, making sure I'm up to date on everything as it's changing so rapidly, I think is really helpful.
yeah, absolutely. So what words of wisdom are you passing along to your supervisees in this transition?
Well, let's see. I think that I'm trying to encourage them that this is temporary, that, you know, we will all get through this, and just supporting them that, you know, they can still, they do have the ability to still keep doing their work online. And so they can keep building their hours. They're still moving towards their LPC licenses. So just giving them some of that encouragement, and, you know, and just personal support as they may need it as well. Just with, you know, the unknowns that this brings for all of us and the changes that are there. So, you know, some of them are finding it so hugely different and foreign to be working from home, never having done that before. And, you know, just building in those little breaks and playing with a pet or going for a quick walk, or some of the silver linings, I think, of working from home. So trying to build in, you know, those, looking at where there are silver linings in all of this, and maybe opportunities for more indirect hours, more reading, building up those hours, you know, kind of looking on the bright side where we can in all of this.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons as we make this transition, that's for sure.
Yes, there are. Yeah, yeah. And for supervisees, they can get lots of indirect hours now with all this extra time on their hands.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a great time for that. And for us to do trainings, I know that I buy PESI trainings or other trainings, and they're kind of like they're waiting for me to find time. And so this
Yes,
is a great time to do some of those.
yes, absolutely. Yes. I have a, what is it, a mindfulness-based stress reduction training that I bought a couple of years ago that I'm actually doing now, since some time has opened up. So that's nice. And it's nice to be able to bring some of that information to my supervisees as well.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah.
love that. So one question I keep getting from people is, whether it's therapists or whether it's clients or whether it's just people I know, is when are we going to go back to in person? And I really wish I could answer that for people. And like you said earlier, this is temporary, but it feels so open-ended right now, especially as the time just kind of keeps getting extended. Can you tell us how you're talking to yourself, your supervisees, your clients about this?
Yeah, just about the unknown nature of when we're going to go back to meeting in person.
Yeah, that uncertainty that we're all feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm trying to minimize news watching, but watch just enough so that I'm apprised of kind of where things are at, you know, in Texas, and then in my county, in Williamson County. You know, what are kind of some of the latest protocols they're putting in place, and just keeping myself up to date, and taking it 1 week at a time. I think just, you know, doing that, breaking it down into this week, next week is what we can do until we know with more certainty when we can go back to, you know, meeting with clients one-on-one regularly. And also just appreciating that there is the benefit of being able to do telehealth. I know some folks have had to just stop their jobs for now, and some are working from home, but as therapists, we do have that benefit of being able to do telehealth and offer that to our clients so they can continue with their treatment, and also continue supervising our interns by offering them telehealth supervision. So just keep looking at, well, what can we do and what is going well during this time that we're in, and I'm trying to share that with my supervisees as well.
Yeah. Because there is a lot going well, and we are able to work, and I know I have so much gratitude for that, to be able to continue my practice.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in practicing gratitude daily. So I think that looking at, yes, there's so much happening right now in the world right now that is uncertain, scary, but we all have things that are going well in our daily lives too, and so helpful to look at that and focus on that.
Yeah. So now I want to know a little bit more about you. I know that you said you're working from home, and I know that you have children at home. And in this transition to telehealth, can you tell us a little bit how you're navigating that as a person while supporting clients and being at home?
Sure. Well, I'm fortunate in that I have teenagers, so they don't need direct and constant supervision as younger children do. And so if I tell them, hey, I'm working from the office now, I really need, privacy and space until I'm done, they're good at honoring that. I'd say the challenge, though, has been trying to keep them engaged in some learning. Their school has offered some distance learning, not to where they're, grading it and counting it yet, but they're offering some things. And so I'm really trying to encourage my kids to keep a routine, keep a schedule, still do some form of learning every day, and a variety of activities like reading, walking outside, of course, talking with their friends, and not just watching TV or staying on video games. So, just trying to stay in touch with giving them that while also supporting my clients. But it's definitely a shift, a very simple shift.
I imagine
all of us parents and therapists have to adjust very quickly to these changes. We're all tasked with that, but I think that, again, just trying to look at the opportunities. I have a senior in high school, and so it also has opened up more time to spend with him that I didn't think I'd have. So that's been a real bright side in all of this.
Yeah, that is the nice thing, when we can get a little bit more of that quality time with family.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially when family life gets so busy and people are all going in their different directions. It's been really nice to suddenly have just slower days and dinners together more often and things like that. Just time together.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what you've learned about yourself in this process. I know that you are an amazing healer, and so I'm wondering, how are you balancing taking care of all the people that you caretake, which is, I think, a long list, and also being a human being that's impacted by this alongside everyone else?
Well, I think one day at a time. And I've learned that I can adjust to changes rapidly. I haven't been in a spot in my life where I've had to do that in a while. So it was kind of a reminder, like, okay, yeah, I can do this. It's a lot of tweaking things and shifting things, but I can do this. So there's been that. and again, just really trying to practice my own self-care, really working on my own meditation, and I draw on prayer and going for walks, connecting with nature. All of those things are very important to me. So just making sure that I'm doing that so that I have the space to give to my clients and to my family. So, and fortunately, my family understands that about me. So they know that if I'm, off on my own for a little bit of time in my room or out walking, they get it. And they know that's just one of those things that I need to do.
Yeah. So you already had a really good self-care routine put into place and in your life. So that's got to help with this transition.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So just kind of bumping that and doing even more of it. Because there's a lot of anxiety from clients, some anxiety from supervisees, and then just, it's sort of in the air, in the news, and you go to the grocery store and, people are trying to grocery shop a little bit more quickly and wearing their gloves and masks. So, there's definitely a lot of anxiety in the air right now.
Yeah, that's true. Yes. So many therapists have not historically done telehealth, and that transition is really stressful for a lot of us, whether we've done it before or not. Just these times, like you said, there's that anxiety in the air. So before we wrap up here today, I was just wondering if you had any additional words of wisdom that you'd like to share with the mental health community as we go through this time together.
Well, I think, we are truly in this together. There is no culture or country in the world that's unaffected by this, and same with the therapist community. Whether we've been established in practice for decades or are just starting out, this really does bring us together as a community, and we will get through it. I love to see all the advocacy out there, therapists advocating for clients to get insurance coverage and their telehealth services in place. That's really been great. And, it is temporary, even though it may go on for, potentially another few months into the summer. It will pass, and we will be back to quote unquote more normal. But it also, we're all now getting trained in telehealth. So we'll have that benefit to be able to offer that service to our clients once things do go back to normal, for clients who might have a hard time driving to their appointments, or if they're not feeling well and things like that. So we have kind of a new tool in our pockets to draw from through all of this.
Yes.
So I guess those are my thoughts.
Well, thank you so much for that. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more telehealth, and we all just kind of got trained.
Yes, very quickly.
Very quickly. And I think that can be some positives down the road.
Yeah. And, I just wanted to say I'm also just super, I guess, impressed and touched at how many platforms have come together to try and train us as therapists and also offer services free of charge. Zoom is now offering telehealth for free for a while. Simple Practice has waived fees for a month. And both Simple Practice and Person-Centered Tech have given lots of free information on their websites. So it's just been amazing to see how people really are coming together in all of this. Most importantly, to support the mental health needs of our community. So it's just been awesome.
Yeah, I love that support for those of us out on the front lines.
Yeah, it's been good.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you joining us so much. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank
I'm
you.
really,
Thank you.
really glad to have been here and enjoy talking with you and just hearing what you have to say. And thank you for doing what you do, because I'm also enjoying looking at what other therapists are doing and their approach to this period of time that we're in.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, this has been Therapist Supporting Therapists with the beautiful Rachel Saenger.
Thank you.
Please like or subscribe below, and thank you for joining us. Everybody have a great day. Bye.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye.